All right, guys, so we're going to start with number 2 that's on the review packet. So for number 2, you've got 35x plus 21 over 49. What it wants you to do is it wants you to simplify each expression. So in the numerator, I noticed I do have a GCF. I can divide by 7, and that'll leave me 5x plus 3. In the denominator, 49, I know that's 7 times 7, and so the 7's a cross out, and that'll leave me 5x plus 3 divided by 7. And that will be my answer for number 2. For number 4, it gives me 3x squared plus 18x over x plus 6. There's also a GCF in the numerator of 3x. So you can take out that 3x, and that'll leave me x plus 6 in the numerator. The x plus 6 is crossed out, and that just leaves me 3x. So that's number 4. For number 6, I've got 3x minus 21 over x squared plus 2x minus 63. In the numerator, you've got that GCF. You can take out a 3. That'll leave me x minus 7. But in the denominator, you've got a trinomial. Well, a trinomial lists factors of 63. Well, what multiplies to give me 63? That will be 9 and 7. Well, how am I going to get a positive 2 out of that? 9 and a negative 7. So let's do x plus 9 and x minus 7. The reason why I do that is, well, what's going to cross out now? There you go, x minus 7. So that leaves me 3 over x plus 9. So that will be your answer for number 6. For number 8, you've got x squared plus 8x plus 12 divided by x squared plus 10x plus 24. And I'm going to pause the recording for 1 second, and then, all right, now I can pick back up. All right, so you've got a trinomial on the top. All right, factors of 12. What multiplies to give me 12? That'll be 6 and 2. How I get a positive 8 out of that? Positive 6 and positive 2. So I have x plus 6 and x plus 2. In the denominator, factors of 24 would be 6 and 4. How am I going to get a positive 10 out of that? Well, 6 and 4. So I have x plus 6 and x plus 4. The x plus 6 is a cross out, and that'll leave me x plus 2 over x plus 4. So that's the answer to number 8. All right, for number 10, I've got n squared minus 81 over n squared minus 10n plus 9. In the numerator, you've got a difference of 2 squares. So I'm going to factor that to be n plus 9, n minus 9. But in the denominator, you got a trinomial. Well, factors of 9 are 9 and 1. The way I'm going to get a negative 10 is I'm going to do negative 9 and negative 1. So that would be n minus 9, n minus 1. That'll cross out, and that leaves me n plus 9 over n minus 1. All right, for number 10, it wanted me to actually state the excluded values. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to take the denominator and set the denominator equal to 0. So that gives me n minus 9 is equal to 0, and n minus 1 is equal to 0. So that gives me 9 and 1 as my answer for number 10. So the directions for number 10 and 12 are different. Number 10 said state the excluded value. So for number 12, the way you find the excluded value is you take the denominator and set it equal to 0. So if you look at number 12, the denominator is x squared plus 8x minus 9. So set that equal to 0. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to factor this. Factors of 9 are 9 and 1. I'm going to try and get a positive 8, so it'll be 9 minus 1. So that'll give me n plus 9 and n minus 1. And then set each one of these equal to 0. So if I set each one of these equal to 0, I'm going to get negative 9 and positive 1. That's right, exactly. So again, the directions for 10 and 12 say that you need to state the excluded value. Just remember, excluded value means take the denominator, set it equal to 0. All right, for number 14, it gives me this expression, 1 over k plus 3 equals minus 1k, not even recording, and minus 1k, so minus 1 over k equals let me see here, 2k plus 12 over k squared plus 3k. Alright, so here's what you're going to do. It wants you to solve this. So what we got to do is we got to multiply by our whole denominator. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to, first of all, I want you to scratch out this k squared plus 3k and write this, because it's a GCF, k and then k plus 3, because that's my GCF for k squared plus 3k. But if you notice, this denominator's got k plus 3, this denominator's got k, and this one has both of them. So what do you think my common denominator is going to be for the whole thing? It's going to be that whole thing. So it's going to be k plus 3 times k. So there's my common denominator, k plus 3 times k. And so what you're going to do is, remember, you're going to distribute each one of those by that. So let me show you what that looks like. You're going to have 1 times k plus 3 times k over k plus 3. Then you're going to have minus 1 times k plus 3 times k over k plus 3 equals 2k plus 12 times k plus 3 times k. And if you remember when I taught this to you guys, I used to say it's going to look worse before it looks better, because it looks worse right now. But if you notice, stuff's going to cross out. Right now, the k plus 3s are cross out, and also that'll just leave me 1k. On the second one, the k plus 3s are cross out, and that'll leave me minus 1k. And then over on this side, the k plus 3s are cross out, and the k's are cross out, so that leaves me 2k plus 12. So this leaves me 0 equals 2k plus 12, and that leaves me 2k equals negative 12, and then just divide by 2, and that gives me my answer of negative 6. And so that will be my answer for number 12. Alright, that's 14. I'm sorry, that's 14. So 14 is negative 6. Alright, so arrowing down, number 16. For number 16, it gives me 3 over v squared minus 2v minus 24 equals 1 over v squared minus 2v minus 24 plus 1 over v plus 4. You've still got to do the same thing for number 16. You've got to factor the denominator, but v squared minus 2v minus 24, the factors of 24 are 6 and 4. How am I going to get a negative 2 out of that? Well, I'm going to do negative 6 and positive 4. So here's what you're going to have. 3 over v minus 6, v plus 4 equals 1 over v minus 6, v plus 4 plus 1 over v plus 4. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to multiply by my common denominator, which my common denominator is going to be the v minus 6 and the v plus 4. So you're going to multiply everything by that. And again, it's going to look worse before it looks better. So I'm going to have 3 v minus 6 v plus 4 over v minus 6 v plus 4 equals 1 v minus 6 v plus 4 over v minus 6 v plus 4 plus 1 v minus 6 v plus 4 over v plus 4. Alright, so in the first one, again, it looks worse before it looks better. In the first one, look at all this stuff. It all crosses out except for that 3. In the middle one, look at that. It all crosses out except for the 1. And then in the last one, the v plus 4s cross out, and that leaves me v minus 6. So we can solve this. You're going to get 1 minus 6, so that would be v minus 5, and then add 5, and you're going to get 8. So 8 is equal to v, and that's for number 16. Alright, for number 18, I've gotten 5x plus 6y over 15x minus x plus y over 15x. Now remember, you can subtract these because they have the same denominator. And so since they have the same denominator, let's just subtract them. What's 5x minus 1x? 4x. What's 6y minus 1y? That's going to be 5y. So it's going to be 4x plus 5y over 15x. And I'm going to pause that right here. Kelly. Okay. All right, so there's your answer for number 18. All right, now, for number 20, you have 6y over 18xy plus x plus 5y over 18xy. Now, again, they have the same denominator, so you can add them together. So let's add them together. What's 6y plus 5y? 11y. So 11y plus x over 18xy. And so that's number 20. All right, flipping over for 22. For 22, it wanted you to add 4k over 2k squared plus 10k plus 3 over 2. Well, the first thing we got to do is get our common denominator, which our common denominator would be both of these together. So let's do that right quick. So my denominator would be 2k squared plus 10k times 2. And the same thing for the other one, 2k squared plus 10k times 2, because that's what they're going to have in common. That's my common denominator. Now, in the first one, look at what you had before and look at what you got now. You need a 2 there, so let's multiply by 2. In the second one, look at what you had before, and now look at what you got now. So we got to multiply by 2k squared plus 10k. And so if you multiply this, you're going to get 8k plus, distribute here, you're going to get 6k squared plus 30k over 2k squared plus 10k times 2. And then just combine your like terms. You'll have 6k squared plus 38k over, let me distribute that, 4k squared plus 20k. And so then there's your answer for number 22. All right, for 24, it wanted you to subtract, but you're going to do it the same way. So you've got 5x over 3x squared plus 18x minus 6x over 3x. Well, if you notice, 6x over 3x, the x's cross out, and what's 6 divided by 3? It's just going to be 2. So I get 5x over 3x squared plus 18x minus 2. And so if I subtract these, I'm going to put a 1 up under there so I can get a common denominator. My common denominator would just be 3x squared plus 18x, because this is just a 1. So I have 3x squared plus 18x. Well, look at the old and look at the new. There's nothing different, so I'm just going to put a 5x here. But on this one, look at the old versus the new. You see it's got this 3x squared, so I'm going to put 3x squared plus 18x. And so then I'm going to distribute this 2, and that'll give me 5x over 3x squared plus 18x. And I'll distribute that, I get negative 6x squared minus 36x. And that's over the 3x squared plus 18x. And then just combine your like terms. So I'm going to have negative 6x squared, 5x minus 36 is negative 31. And that gives me my answer for 24. So just combining your like terms. For 26, that is a division symbol. So for 26, I've got x squared minus 20x plus 100 over x minus 10, and it's divided by x plus 9 over x plus 8. Just remember, guys, to stay, change, flip. So this one I'm going to leave. It's a trinomial, and it's going to factor into x minus 10 times x minus 10. I'm going to change that to multiplication and flip this one. Well, if you notice, the x minus 10 is a cross out, and so that'll leave me x minus 10 times x plus 3 over x plus 9. And so that was the answer for 26. For 28, I've got v minus 2 over 4 times 4v plus 28 over v plus 7. Well, the first thing I notice is I've got a GCF right here. So I'm going to factor out a 4, and that'll leave me v plus 7. Well, the reason why I did that is because look at everything that's going to cross out now. The 4s are going to cross out, and the v plus 7 is going to cross out. The only thing that's left behind is that v minus 2. And so that's why the answer for 28 is v minus 2. All right, now we're going to change some surroundings. So for number 30, it wanted you to graph y is equal to the square root of x plus 4 minus 3. Now, it's been a while since we did one of these, but if you remember, the number on the outside means it's going to move up or down. So since that's a negative 3, what do you think that means, up or down? Down 3. The inner number is left or right, but you got to think opposite. So since that's a plus 4, I'm going to move it to the left 4. All right, so on your graph, guys, here's what you should have. Take your pencil, move to the left 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Move down 3. 1, 2, 3. So left 4, down 3. Put a point right there, and then remember what it looks like. Draw a little square root that looks like this. Draw it just like that. And that's what shape it is for number 30. All right, for 32, it gave you y is equal to the square root of x minus 1. Notice the minus 1's on the outside, so that means it's going to move down 1. There's no number on the inside, so it's not going to move left or right. So take your pencil, go down 1, put a point there, and then draw you a square root function that looks just like that. And so that's the answer for number 32. For 34, you've got the square root of negative 14 minus 2a equals the square root of 3a plus 36. Start by squaring both sides, because that'll cancel out, and that'll leave me negative 14 minus 2a equals 3a plus 36. And now just solve for a. So I'm gonna add 2a to both sides, and that'll give me negative 14 equals 5a plus 36. And then I'm going to subtract 36 from both sides. That'll give me negative 50. And then divide by 5. That gives my answer of negative 10. And so that's 34. For 36, you do it about the same way. For 36, you square both sides. And so that'll give me 23 minus 2m equals 3m minus 12. And so again, to solve this for m, I'm going to add 2m, and that'll give me 23 equals 5m minus 12. And so then I'm going to add 12, and that'll give me 35 equals 5m, and then just divide by 5, and that gives my answer of 7. Now, 38 is a little bit different. For 38, you've got 4 equals the square root of 7 minus x. So you're still going to square both sides. But look here, you ain't going to square it over here. So 4 squared is 16. So you get 16 equals 7 minus x, and then let's subtract 7 and get 9. But then don't forget, you got to divide by that negative x. And so that's why you get negative 9 as your answer for number 38. For number 40, you've got negative 5 equals the square root of n over 6 minus 10. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add 10. That'll give me 5. And then you can square both sides and watch what happens. You're going to get 25 equals n over 6. I don't know why I just put 36. N over 6 because the square roots cancel out. So it's n over 6. And then just multiply both sides by 6. And that gives me my answer of 30, 12, 150. And so that's the answer for number 40. All right. For 42, I will have to use my calculator, but for 42, it gives me negative 4 r to the 3 halves equals negative 2916. Well, I'm going to grab my calculator because the first thing I've got to do is I've got to divide by negative 4. Don't do that reciprocal just yet. Save that reciprocal for the last step. So let me do negative 2916 divided by 4. That gives me 729. Now let's do that reciprocal. The reciprocal of 3 over 2 is 2 over 3. And so let me plug that in. 729 to the 2 over 3. That's going to give me 81 as my final answer for number 42. All right, for 44, you're going to do something similar to it. For 44, you're going to have 4 parentheses x plus 19 to the 3 halves equals 2916. Again, don't do that reciprocal just yet. First thing, divide that thing by 4. Divide both sides by 4. So that'll give me x plus 19 to the 3 halves. And let me use my calculator. 2916 divided by 4. That gives me 729. And then let me do my reciprocal. My reciprocal is going to be 2 over 3. So let me plug that in my calculator. 729 to the 2 over 3. That's 81. So that's going to give me x plus 19 equals 81. And then just subtract 19 from both sides. And that gives my answer of 62. So that's 44. All right, for 46, I don't want you to miss these on the replacement test tomorrow. 46, how are you going to rewrite p to the 2/3? You're just going to write that as the cube root of p squared. How easy is that? For 48, how are you going to rewrite 6r to the 1/3? You're going to rewrite that as the cube root of 6r to the 1st. So I don't want you to miss those on the test. All right, for number 50, I'm going backwards now. I've got the 4th root of 10n to the 3rd. And so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write this right quick, and I'm going to have 10n to the 3/4. All right, for 52, I'm going to rewrite that, the 6th root of 10p to the 7th power. Rewrite that as 10p to the 7 over 6. So for all of those, make sure that you rewrite them. You rewrite them as those. I don't want you to miss those problems on the test tomorrow. All right, let's arrow down. Let's go on down to 54. For 54, you've got 6 to the 3x equals 6 to the negative x. Notice the bases are the same, so the 6's are going to cross out. So that'll leave me 3x equals negative x. Then just go ahead and add x to both sides. Well, 3x plus x is going to be 4x equals 0, and then just divide by 4, and that gives my answer of x is equal to 0. All right, for 56, you've got 3 to the n plus 3 equals 3 to the 3n. Notice the 3's are going to cross out, so that leaves me n plus 3 equals 3n, and then subtract 1n from both sides. That gives me 3 equals 2n, and then just divide by 2. That gives my answer of 3 over 2. All right, for 58, you've got 216 to the negative n plus 3 equals 36 to the negative 3n. They don't have the same base, so we can't cross them out. But I do know that 216 is 6 cubed, and I also know that 36 is 6 squared. And so now the 6's are crossed out. And so if I distribute, I'm going to get negative 3n plus 9 equals negative 3n. And then what I'm going to do next is I'm going, oh, that wasn't a 50, hey, that was a negative 3n? Okay, all right. And so then add 3n to both sides, so I get 9 is equal to 0. And so then you get 9 is equal to 0. That means that there's no solution for that one. So there's no solution for number 58. All right, now, for number 60, you've got 25 to the b equals 625. Remember, 25 is 5 squared. And then 625 is 5 to the 4th. Well, the 5's are crossed out now, so you get 2b is equal to 4. Divide by 2, you get b is equal to 2. And so that's number 60. For number 62, it wants you to find the inverse. So we're going to change up a little bit. For 62, here's how you find the inverse. Change that h of n to y, and change that n to an x. So that's what you do first. Then switch the x and the y around. So you're going to get x equals negative 8 plus y over 2. And now just solve this for y. So you're going to get 2x equals negative 8 plus y. And then you're going to get 2x plus 8. And so there's your inverse for number 62. For 64, to make the inverse, change that f of n to y and change the n to an x. And now just solve this for x. And then switch it. Switch the x and the y. So you're going to get x equals 10y minus 5. And then to solve this for y, add 5. And then, after you add the 5, divide by 10. and that gives you your inverse. The main thing you got to remember for inverse is just make sure that you switch the x and the y. Alright, for 66 and 68, it wanted you to graph those functions, actually for 70 and 72. So here's what I'm going to do. Let me minimize this, and let me pull up the graphing calculator. That way you can see it, because I want to actually let you see what we've got here for this. So I'm just going to minimize that, and I'm going to pull up the graphing calculator as it comes up. And it comes up, and I want to show you, because I don't want you to miss these on the test tomorrow, because all you got to do is just graph them. All you got to do is just graph these, and you're good to go. So as soon as this sucker loads up, there it goes. And then go to your graphs page, and let me make it bigger so you can see. Make it bigger so you can see. All right, and so let's graph that one right there. You've got control divide, 1/4, and then times 4 to the x, and then just hit enter. And then look how easy that is. And so that's just going to be your answer for number 66. Alright, for the next one, if you put in that graphs page, 1/4, so control divide 1/4, and then it's times 2 to the x, hit enter. There's the graph for number 68. So again, don't miss these tomorrow, just graph them. Alright, let me add number 70. So let's take a look at number 70. For number 70, type it in 2 times, open parentheses, control divide, 1/3, close parentheses, to the x, hit enter. There's your graph for number 70, so don't miss that one. Alright, and then for 72, let's put that one in. Control divide, 1/3, and then times, open parentheses, control divide, 1/3, close parentheses, to the x, and then there's your graph for number 72. So again, don't miss those. I don't want you to miss those tomorrow. Alright, picking back up with number 74. For 74, it wants you to rewrite that. So start with the base, jump the fence, power of 3, jump the fence back, equals to 27. For 76, start with the base, 18, jump the fence, power of 2, jump the fence back, 324. So that's the answer for number 76. Alright, for 78, we got to use our calculator for 78. Let me go back to my calculator then. 78. How do we type that in the calculator? Well, hit control 10 to the x, and then put in log 4 of 3.6. There's your answer for number 78. And then for number 80, do the same thing. Control log, it's log base 4 of 39. There's your answer for number 80. So there's 78, and there's 80 right there. Alright, for 82, it wants you to expand, and it gives you log base 9 of a to the third, b to the fifth. Well, here's what you got to remember. This is multiplication, and where do these exponents go? They go to the front. So let's write this. You're going to have 3 log base 9 of a plus 5 log base 9 of b. And so that will be your answer for 82. For 84, you'd have 5 log base 7 of c plus 1/2 log base 7 of a. And that will be your answer for 84. For 86, you're going to condense that down, and so here's what you're going to get. You're going to get log base 3 of 5 times 12 to the 1/3 times 7 to the 1/3, and that will be your answer for 86. For 88, if you condense that down, you're going to get log base 2 of 6 to the 15th over 5 to the 3rd. Alright? Now, for number 90, it wants you to solve it. For number 90, I've got log base 9 of 4n is equal to 2. Let's rewrite this. You're going to get 9 to the 2nd equals 4n, so you get 81 equals 4n, and then just divide by 4. So that gives my answer of 81 over 4. For 92, I've got log base 11 of 7b is equal to 1. Go ahead and rewrite that. So it's going to be 11 to the first equals 7b. Divide by 7, so you just get 11 over 7. For 94, the logs are going to cross out. So that would give me negative n plus 10 equals n minus 6. And then to solve this for n, I'm going to add into both sides. That gives me 10 equals 2n minus 6. Then I'm going to add 6, and that'll give me 16. Divide by 2, that'll give me 8. All right, so that's 94. For 96, the logs are going to cross out again, so that'll leave me negative r equals 2r plus 3. So I'm going to subtract 2r from both sides. That'll give me negative 3r is equal to 3. And then divide by negative 3, that'll give me r is equal to negative 1. For 98, the logs aren't going to cross out, so you got to rewrite this one. So it's going to be log base 3 of x over x minus 1 is equal to 4. Now you can rewrite it. Start with the base of 3, jump the fence, power 4, jump the fence back, x over x minus 1. 3 to the 4th is 81, and then to solve this, put this under 1 and cross multiply. That gives me 81x minus 81 is equal to 1x, and then subtract 81x from both sides. That gives me negative 81 is equal to negative 80x, and then divide by negative 80. That gives me positive 81 over 80 for number 98. For 100, it needs to condense down first, so you're going to get log base 2, and then let's multiply, and that'll give me 10x plus 20 is equal to 3. And then let's rewrite this. Start with a base of 2, jump the fence, power 3, jump the fence back, equals 10x plus 20. 2 to the 3rd is 8. And then what happens is we're going to subtract 20. So that's going to give me negative 12 equals 10x. And then divide by 10. That gives my answer of negative 6 over 5. And that's the answer for 100 is negative 6 over 5. All right, for the last two, we're going to need my calculator. So 102 is 10 times 10 to the x plus 3 equals 14. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to divide by 10, and so that'll give me 10 to the x plus 3 equals, your calculator tell you that that is 7 over 5. Then you're going to log both sides so that this will come down in front. And so that'll give me x plus 3 log of 10 equals log of 7 over 5. And then let's just divide by log of 10. And so I'm going to use my calculator now. So let me type in log of 7 over 5. So log of 7 over 5 divided by log of 10. My calculator tells me that that is 0.146. And then just subtract 3. That gives me my answer of negative 2.854, and that's the answer for 102. And then for 104, you've got 7 to the x plus 6 minus 8 equals 74. So you're going to add 8 to both sides. You're going to get 7 to the x plus 6 equals 82. You're going to log both sides so the x plus 6 comes down. So you're going to have x plus 6 log of 7 equals log of 82, and then just divide by log of 7. That leaves me x plus 6, and now let me use my calculator. Log of 82 divided by log of 7. That gives me 2.265, and then just subtract 6 from both sides. And that gives my final answer of negative 3.735. And that would be your answer for number 104. And then I am done. And if anybody else in the class wants to say hello before I hit post. Hello. All right, that's my class right there, the world. That's my class right there. Juniors, they're smart. They all going to make 100 tomorrow. All right, we're going to post this until next time.